Sometimes we feel lonely, sometimes we feel alone, and most of the time we are confused between what exactly we are feeling, and that's why we are not able to take the required steps. So, in this video, I promise you are going to learn the difference and also what to do when you are feeling either of them. So let's dive in. And this confusion is real because a lot of time these words are used interchangeably, which they should not be, but they just are so similar, so they are just used. And we also know that sometimes we don't want to say exact same thing, so we find little better alternative to say, and that's where all the issues start because we are not clear. Okay, so let's understand the difference between being lonely and being alone, and before that let's talk about this feeling. So imagine you walked into a restaurant, a cafe, and you saw someone who is sitting alone. Now, because you saw it, some thoughts will come in your head, some feelings will emerge. The thoughts could be why that person is alone. Does that person not have any friend? Or any sort of things can come. Maybe the next person is waiting for someone and things like that. Now, whatever your thought is and how much you engage with that thought, your feelings will be more. The feelings can get intense if you are engaging with the thought more and more, if you are thinking about it more and more, and also depending on the visuals. If in your environment that person is alone and let's say that person just starts crying, then your feelings and the emotions and the intensity will increase and your thoughts will be increasing. What should I do? Should I go? Should I comfort, and all those kind of things will be there. But again, that was a situation. If the person starts crying, let's say the person is not crying, that person is just sitting there alone, there is this thing that you will feel a little uneasy about that person. Why? Because we are social human beings. We are always supposed to be with people and things like that. So when you see someone being all by themselves, that will evoke that feeling, that little bit of unsettling. Again, you don't have to do anything about it, you don't have to take any action because you can't, since you don't know the next person, but that feeling will be there, and that feeling will evoke similar feeling that you experience. Okay, so for a lot of people, going in public sitting by themselves is uncomfortable, and that's where it is encouraged to go alone. Like sometimes just go alone to watch a movie, go alone in a cafe, go alone to have your coffee. It is encouraged because you are putting yourself out there by yourself. It helps you a lot. Now coming to this feeling, and there is this question in this slide, not a question but a statement which is very interesting, and it is very deep, which you will learn later on. So, the discomfort, the uneasiness that you are feeling often masks a deeper question that we are afraid to ask. You will learn about it in the video, and so let's move on. Meanwhile, just keep this in mind. Before we move on, one more thing. Whenever there's uneasiness, whenever there's this uncomfortable, whenever there's discomfort, all these feelings, when they come in, what do? You have two things. Okay, either you can take actions about it or you can avoid taking actions about it. Like, they are just these two things which someone can do. Either they can take action about it or they can avoid taking action about it. When you take action, things will get resolved or get to a conclusion, or something will happen, things will move. But the other thing, which is very easy, to not take actions about it, and that's where comes distraction. So wherever there is discomfort, distraction just comes in and be like, hey, I will be your buddy, I will save you from this. And yes, so distraction comes in, and the issue with distraction is when it fades away, what you are avoiding comes back to you, and then what do? So let's talk about the distraction first. So how you can distract yourself? You can, like, if you are at your home, you can watch a series. If you are at your home, you can play video games or something like that. And again, if you are at your home, you can do doom scrolling. And now people, when they are in public, they still do scroll their reels and everything. They don't need to, they don't have to, they don't have that intention to do. It's just very automatic because it is distracting you, it is helping you to avoid that discomfortable feeling, that uneasy feeling. All right, so now let's talk about all these things which help you distract. See, when they get over, when the distraction is over and you are back to yourself, your brain puts the same thing in front of you. And the issue is, because you were distracted, because you were engaged in some activity, let's say a video game that was high stimulus, there were so many sounds, there were so many visuals, everything, so it took a lot of your energy, let's say energy it took. Now after that, when you are again confronted with the thing that you were avoiding in the first place, you are not in a position to deal with it. And that creates exhaustion sometimes, that creates more uneasy feelings sometimes. And yes, that can make you feel very lonely as well. So let's move on and let's understand that what happens when this happens, and if you choose to engage with it, what will happen. So let's say you notice that you are distracting, and then you sit with yourself, which is one of the most hardest thing in today's time, is to simply just sit with yourself. So if you sit, there is this thing, a question might come. And if that is a question, it might be like, is something missing? And since you already know the answer, you will feel that yes, you know what is missing. Of course, it will take a lot of things to address it, but yes, the question will be, is something missing? Or the question could be what you could do for that thing which is missing. And let me tell you, you are not the only one who is asking this. Everyone is asking themselves at some point in their life, or many a times in their life. So let's move on. Now let's understand the difference between aloneness and loneliness. So let's see how aloneness feels like. It's like you are just sitting by yourself reading a book or watching out the scenery, you're just watching a tree and just sitting there, just being there. And loneliness is when you are in public, when people are around you, yet you are somehow isolated. Like somehow there is a invisible wall that keeps you away from the people. Like for example, other people are connecting with each other, and you might also be connecting with each other, you might be talking with each other, but there is this feeling that maybe they won't get you, maybe they would not understand you, maybe they are not your type. All those kind of things makes an invisible wall, because of which when you are in the public with the people, with your classmates, with your friends, with your colleagues, you are still isolated from them. And that is internal isolation. So now if you were in two states, one is being alone state and one is being lonely state. A lone state person will see this picture as a tree is there, there is a sun settling, there is grass, and just see it and be okay with it, because that person is just being alone. It's a neutral state. That person will just be okay with it, simply that yes, there is a tree, there is a sun going down, there is a clear sky and everything. However, if there was a person who was in the loneliness state, that person will see the tree as, why there is only one tree there, why there is not a forest, why there are not other trees. Won't that tree will feel lonely? Is the tree waiting for someone? As we discussed the example of the cafe. Okay, if a person is lonely and that person sees someone else, that person will feel that why that person is alone. Is the person waiting for some friend? And if a person is just being alone, they will just see, okay, there's one more person there, and they will be neutral about it. But when a person is going through loneliness, feeling lonely, they will not see it like that. And the reason is because being alone is a physical state, while being lonely is a emotional response. Now, emotional response to what? Emotional response to the external stimuli, which in this case is the tree that is alone, because that is what the internal state is, and it is about giving that meaning to the external stimulus. How we perceive the world depends on how our perception is. We are the one who is giving meaning to the things which we see. So when that person sees an image where there is only one tree, that person will be like, why is it just one tree? Or that person will feel more lonely by seeing just one tree in the scenery, and might feel like what nature is doing. There's just one tree, one survivor. And it will also see the tree's age, it will also see the way the tree is maybe malnourished, and all those kind of things will come if the person thinks deeper. And the reason is because we as a social human being, we yearn for connections. We want social connections, we want personal connections, we want connections. And what is a connection? It's a bond which you share with other human being. We want that. So let's see this example, this thing with a chair metaphor. So let's say you were alone and you saw a chair. It's an empty chair, and if a person is being alone in the alone state, they will just see it as a chair, nothing more, nothing less. That yes, there is a chair there just by the window where that person might just go and sit. It's accessible to that person and something like that. But when a person is in the state of loneliness and see the chair, they might just feel like why there is no one on that chair. Or imagine the person whom they want to be on that chair. Yes, that can also happen. Or they might bring one more chair with their chair and be like, I wish that someone was also with me here. Again, because it's an emotional response of that lack of connection, that lack of again, lack of connection here means the intensity, and we are going to talk about it more. So these are two states right now. Let's talk about the other one. So there is this third state of solitude. It's a mix of both of them, but it's very different from both of them. Okay, so in the third stage, we just see that empty chair and we are grateful for it. We are just so grateful for the wood it is made up from, the person who made it, and all those kind of things. We are just grateful, we are just content, we are not questioning. We are not questioning at all, or we are not answering at all. We are just grateful that there is a chair. There is someone who made that beautiful chair. Now, this is a stage when people are not exactly looking for connections, because they are just so connected with the nature itself that they are just connected with everything that is around them. So for a person who is going through loneliness, wants human beings to be there, and human beings, by that they want human beings that reciprocate the emotions, the things that they are feeling. Okay, and when they are not able to find that reciprocation, they feel lonely. But when a person is in solitude, that person is just beyond all these things. That person is just grateful for whatever is there. That person is just connected with nature so much that it's completely okay for that person to have connections or not have connections. It's like a person is completely detached and attached at the same time, attached with the things for which he is very grateful. He or she is very grateful, and if there is something that is taken away, that person is still grateful. If something is added, that person is still grateful. And that's where this state of solitude comes in, and which is very hard to get. So let's move on. And I just had this example when I was talking about this thing and how I was visualizing. I thought this as this glass half empty, half full kind of logic, that one chair is there and a person is like, yo, there's one chair, I can sit on it. There is one chair. Why there is, why it is empty when a person is going through loneliness, or I wish that person was there in that chair. Okay. And then there is this solitude where it is like, okay, it's so nice that there is a chair. I'm so grateful. It's like half, even if the glass is half full, the grateful person be like, oh, there is half glass water. There is half glass of air, which is so nice. Both are important, both are required for our survival. Water and air, both are required. I'm not sure if I'm into that state right now, solitude. I might sound one. Okay, let's move on. So let's talk about the lived experiences that we go through every day, and it will help you understand. It will help you to understand the isolation much better. It will help you understand loneliness and aloneness much better. So let's say you were in your metro station, in your train, you got in, there are lots of people, like many people are there, and you might not even have space to stand properly. However, you still can feel lonely because you are not aware of those people, you don't know those people, you are not yet sharing that connection, that bond, that comfort with those people. That's where, in that metro, when all the people are there, you might still feel lonely. And let's talk about the people whom you know. You are aware, you have a connection with them, you share a bond with them, you share a relationship with them. Let's say your family. You are sitting at the dining table with your family, and there also you can, because maybe all the people are minding their own things. Maybe they are scrolling, maybe they are doing something, maybe they are talking about something which you don't want to talk about, or anything can happen. You might feel lonely there as well. You might feel unseen there as well if they all are talking just about themselves or being themselves, or you are not able to talk about yourself. You are not able to get attention for your things. You can feel lonely at that time as well. Let's move on. Let's understand this in little better way. So loneliness is not about number of people, it's about quality of connection. So as I said, even when you are in metro, there are hundreds of the people out there, but you might feel lonely because you don't know them, you have no idea about them. And even when you are with your family, you might still feel lonely because of the quality of connection that is required for a social human beings. Let's break it down and let's understand this. So first of all, you are craving to be understood. Like, this is one of the most important need of a human being, to be understood. And wherever and whenever you're not feeling understood, you would not like to be in that situation, because that's uneasy situation for you, and that will evoke the feeling of loneliness. Let's talk about the second is when you are with people, yet something inside you still feel untouched, unseen, unheard, anything like that. And whenever that happens, again you feel loneliness. And the third is you want closeness. Like, this is a statement, I tell you. We are social human beings, we all want closeness, but you feel unsure of how to reach for it, how to get that closeness for yourself. And that is when, again, you are going to feel lonely. And let's understand this thing that loneliness happens when there is a mismatch of emotional resonance. Okay, what is emotional resonance? So basically, you are putting your energy, your emotions into a connection, into a bond, into a relationship. And when that is not reciprocated, the emotional resonance is not there. And when resonance is not there, that connection is not a quality connection. That is just a quantity connection. That is just a number of a person whom you know. So, at the core, loneliness is a signal for a mismatch. If you are with someone and you still feel lonely, that means there is just a mismatch in the emotional resonance. Loneliness is not a villain here. It is a signal of mismatch, and which is very important. Like, if you understand this thing, you will be shocked and you will be surprised that loneliness is a friend of yours, and not in a friend in a other ways, but in a better way. Okay, because it is telling you where there is a mismatch. Like understand this thing, your feelings knows you much better than you know yourself, and they tell you that there is this mismatch happening. Whatever you are putting efforts and everything, it is not being reciprocated like you want. You can still be hopeful and things like that, but this is not happening, and that's why you are feeling loneliness. So the sooner you understand this, the better it will be for you to focus your energy on the people who reciprocate. Okay, so the loneliness is not a villain here. It's like a friend. Your feelings are like your friends. They signals you, that tells you what is going on in your inner world. Okay, let's learn a little bit more. So, how it feels like? It feels like your heart is calling out but not hearing an echo back. So, you are giving your efforts, but reciprocation, when it is not coming, there comes a gap. There is a gap, and this gap is what our feelings tell us, that there is an emotional resonance mismatch. Let's move on. Let's talk about aloneness. Like, we should be talking about this because this is more important. So it's a space when you feel neutral. So where you are not feeling longing, you are just by yourself and you are not longing for anyone. You are not looking for anyone, you are not thinking of anyone. Like, it's like if that person was there, it will be so good. No, you're not thinking about that. You are just being in that moment and just enjoying it. You are like, there's this feeling of spacious where you want your own space and you're okay in that space, like okay holding that space for yourself, by yourself. And of course, you are in the present moment. See, most of the people either live in the past or the future. Past in the sense that they will feel this happened, that happened, if it didn't happen, then blah blah blah. They are living in the past, or they are living in the future. This happened, what if I could have done that? What if I could have done that? What if this happened? So either you are living in the past or you are living in the future, and both of them are not good because they are taking away, they are stealing away your present. Present is where things can happen. And the people who feel alone and who have, understood aloneness, they are not longing for anyone. They have their space, they can hold their space by themselves, with themselves, and they are in the present moment. They are in whatever activity they are doing. So being alone is the external reality. It's the external reality. Like right now, this person is sitting under a tree, this person is just feeling about something, just thinking about something, and this person is just sitting, maybe seeing a sunset, sunrise, something. Okay, this is external reality, and you are okay with it. Being okay with the external reality, being in it, not thinking much about the past or the future, that is being alone. However, feeling lonely is the internal meaning that we give to that reality. If we go back to the example where you entered a restaurant and you saw a person who is sitting by themselves alone, now there will be some thoughts that will come up in your brain, and what meaning you give to those thoughts will be the internal meaning, and that will be the reality for you. That will be your POV, and that will evoke feelings, emotions, and the intensity of that will be there. Again, it will increase, it will decrease depending on your thoughts, depending on how you feel, how you think about that situation. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about why it matters. So right now we are living in a hyper connected world. We have hundreds of followers, we have so many contacts, we have so many groups that we are a part of, and those groups never sleep. Every time there will be some or the other notification. There will be notification from YouTube, there will be just so many notifications, and if you are not active on social media, there will be a notification, see this is happening. So when we are hyper connected with people around us, using the devices, using the social media, using the electronic medium, you can still feel lonely because quality connections are missing. These connections are just in numbers, these connections are just in the electronic medium. How you feel about them might be very different from how they seem to be. You may have 1 million followers, but you can still feel lonely. You may have hundreds of the people who are messaging you, you can still feel lonely. So now, when we are connected with so many things and there is so much of noise, there is so much of digital noise, your relationship with silence matters the most because it reflects your relationship with yourself. Sometimes we are uneasy, sometimes we also panic because we are doing everything to distract us. We are not accustomed to our own company. We sometimes may not be able to sit by ourselves without our phone. Like there's this social media thing going on where they are just sitting without their phone just by themselves for 1 hour, and a lot of people are trying their hard to spend time, like spend time with themselves, trying their hard to spend 60 minutes without the phone. So you can understand the gravity of this, that our relationship with silence is something that we should be working on, some things we need to be working on, because that reflects our relationship with ourselves. All right, so let's understand something, okay? The fear of existence. Yeah, there is this thing that we are social human beings and we need a witness. And this is a need. Needing a witness is a need. We want to be seen, we want to be heard. And if someone is not seeing us, if someone is not hearing us, we will be feeling uneasy. So, without someone to see us or hear us or validate us, we somehow cease to exist. And it's a very basic human fear. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want people to validate us, we want people to tell us that yes, we are doing good, or yes, this will work, this idea is nice. We want that, we want acknowledgement, we want appreciation. That is a need, that's a human need, and which is very, very normal. See, all of us are working on something or the other, and we show that to people, and we need to show that to people so that we, of course, we feel seen, we feel heard, we feel validated about our things. But we also do that because it is very important. Why it is important? Because when we don't, we might fall in a trap of toxic relationships. And it's a trap, and I'm using the word relationships because it may not always be only one. Okay, unless and until you do not understand this whole concept, whole thing, and work and everyday actions on it, you might be just, preparing yourself to fall into toxic relationships. Because what happens in toxic relationships, all of a sudden you are being seen, heard, validated, if I use a very technical term, love bombed, and you feel like this is the person. Now I am with the person who is actually seeing me, who is actually hearing me. Well, that is a trap. And of course, I am sure you would have experienced this in some or the other way when someone just starts seeing you, start hearing you, start validating you, and you feel like, oh my god. And later on, they reduce it, and you feel deprived of those things, and you go back to that person and be like, why are you not seeing me, why are you not hearing me, why are you not validating me? And then it again, it's a trap, it's a trap of toxic relationships. And toxic relationship is not the point of this video. We might talk about it later on, but yes, let's understand this thing, that we are social human beings. There are certain human needs which we need to understand, we need to follow. So we cannot be alone, we need a witness. We want our growth to be seen by other people. We do not want to live in isolation because we can't. We are not, made like that. We are not wired like that. Our genetics do not allow us to stay in isolation. And understand this thing, whatever we do, we are doing for people. Like, whatever, I am sure whatever work you are doing, it involves other people. Without other people, I don't think you are working on anything. Unless you are in solitude and meditating, that is completely other things. But if you are in this modern world, you are having this laptop and you're watching and you're hearing this, then yes, you are working for people in some way or the other. And that is the reality. And when that is the reality, you need to understand that yes, you want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be validated, and that's completely normal human need. And you just need to find healthier ways of that. Other than that, like, if you do not find healthier ways, you are very likely to get into toxic relationships, which no one should, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's understand this in a very nuanced way. So being alone is like fasting. You choose it, and you may have your own reasons, maybe to clean your body, to for spiritual reasons, to reduce fat. Any, there can be n number of reasons for you to be alone. And understand, this is like fasting. You are choosing not to eat food. However, feeling loneliness is like starving because you are not having the connections, the bonds that you would want in your life. So understand this thing, you are a social human beings, and those connections, those things are your social nourishment. You crave for it, and when it is not available, it's extremely painful. Again, social human beings are not, they're not made for isolation at all. So again, loneliness feels like starving. It's out of your choice. You want to eat, you are hungry, you want to eat food, but food is not there. Whereas when you are being alone, you are fasting, you are choosing to stay alone because you have your own reason. Maybe you want to read a book, maybe you want to do some meaningful activity. That is you choosing. Whereas loneliness is where you are helpless about it, you can't do much about it. And meanwhile, it is like that you can't do about it, but yes, you can definitely do about it. All right, let's go on. Let's understand this with a very good example. I love this example like anything because a lot of people are going through this. So imagine a student preparing for exams like JEE or NEET. There's so much of competition, there's so much of things. A person needs to just lock themselves for hours in front of their books and just study. So now when a person is doing that, they are alone, but it is purposeful, it is focused, and they're not lonely exactly because they're choosing, because they are choosing this for the better future. They're choosing to be alone. Okay. Now, when this person comes out, okay, from their room, from their study room, they come out, they interact with their family for a tea or something. Okay, they just came out. But if the people around them are asking only about studies, how much did you study, how much you did, what your marks are, that person will be feeling invisible. And why is that so? We are asking that person about what that person is studying, or how many marks are getting, what problems it is facing, so that we can help that person. But understand this thing that by that you are seeing the aspirant and not the person. Again, this person is an aspirant, yes, but that is also a person, that is also a human being with needs. So ensure that you, like, if this is you ensure that you are connected with people who ask about you, who talks about you, or you sometimes change the topic and talk about you, because that is very important for you. Studies, marks, everything is there, but depriving yourself of your own basic human needs is not the way. And it is not the way because you are starving yourself if you do that. Again, it's like in Hindi it says that khali pet to puja bhi nahi hoti, which means like if you are hungry you can't even pray to God with full devotion. So how will you study, right? So please make sure that you take actions for it. Loneliness is about quality connections. Like when you have quality of connections, uh, where you are like when you are seen, where you are heard, that is what will help you. Okay. All right, let's move on. I hope now this would be very clear that how aloneness feels like and how loneliness feels like. Alone is when you are choosing to be alone. Loneliness is when you are there among people, yet you feel unheard, unseen. Yet you feel that there is some, they are not getting me, they are not my type, or any, we can give reasons and thoughts and things like that. But this is how it looks like when you are not being seen, when you are not being heard. So that's where this is written, that surrounded by people yet deeply lonely. So loneliness is not about the quality of people, it is about the quality of connection you feel with them. This is the most important line. Quality of connection you feel with them. You can be the most popular person in the room and can still feel chill of isolation, as if you are isolated among them as well. Right now, this image depicts more of alone because this color is very bright, or solitude. Oh my god, yes. Anyways, now I hope you understood that it is always about quality of connection. And let's label this feeling so that we can work more on it, because I have promised you that after this video you will be able to help yourself. So whenever you are feeling anything, label it. Labeling the feeling is very important. If you are feeling disconnected, you say I'm feeling disconnected. If you are feeling lonely, say I'm lonely. Or if you are feeling not heard, say not heard, not seen. These are things which you are supposed to say, which you are supposed to label, because when you label it, then only you will be able to understand it. So naming is very important. Naming reduces the anxiety, reduces the uneasiness. So please never be afraid of labeling things, never be afraid of naming things. However, do not make it like it is a fact. Okay, no, it is not a fact, it is a feeling. So you are always labeling your feeling, which is subject to change. And just ensure this thing, that's where the title is also this: label the feeling. It is not labeling the fact, labeling the feeling which is subject to change. Right now you are feeling this thing, next moment you can feel something else. So yeah, whenever there is this situation, whenever you're feeling anything, ask yourself what you are feeling. Am I feeling physically alone, or am I feeling disconnected? Ask yourself. The second thing is express uneasiness. Of course, whatever you're feeling, whatever thoughts come in your mind, just write them down on a paper. Just write them down. Okay, because writing brings hell lot of clarity. And the power of writing is understood only and only when you write. So you write it and you will feel what I'm telling you. So whenever there is any uneasiness, any discomforting feeling that is there, just write it down. And in my counseling sessions with my clients, what I tell them is, whenever they write it, at the end of it, write a note that I will discuss this thing with Anmol in the next session. And they send me whatever they have written, and then we discuss in the session, and all these things get cleared and they feel lighter because they wrote it. They did what they said in the note as well, that I will discuss this with Anmol in the next session, which is giving your brain a signal that yes, whatever you are bothering me about, it will be addressed. And it is also convincing your brain and telling that when it will be addressed, so your brain stops bothering you. And it has worked with my clients because this is real thing, and it will work with you as well. Just write everything down and write a note that you are going to address it later on. And when later on, okay, you have to clarify that. You have to tell it today, tomorrow, be specific. So when my client says in the next session with Anmol, they are not only telling the time, they are also telling the person they will address it with. And they also know how it will be addressed. It will be addressed through therapy, it will be addressed through counseling and things like that. So all these things are important. When you do that, it will going to help you a lot, and your brain will stop bothering you with all those thoughts that are making you feel uneasy, when you write them down and when you end that written thing with a note. All right, let's move on. Now there are gentle steps to cope. First of all, focus on the quality. As we know, loneliness is not about quantity, it is about quality. So focus on quality. Deepen your conversations with the people you trust. And it's like when we are feeling lonely, we try to meet more people, we try to make more friends, and we think that making more friends will fill that void. But no, it can even widen that void, because again your focus goes on the quantity, and that's where it goes wrong. It should be quality, not quantity. Okay, because you want to be feel seen, heard with your deepest emotions, your uneasy feelings, uneasy thoughts. So that happens only in the quality connections or with your therapist. Okay. Spend some time with yourself, because we understood this thing that silence is more important, because your relationship with silence is your relationship with yourself. So how about you spend 15 to 25 minutes alone without your phone? Most important, without your phone, just being by yourself, engage in some self time, read something, draw something, sip a chai with your journal, or just watch out of the window. How many times we have, built houses and we live in a great place, but we forget to watch out of the window, we forget to go in the balcony and just sit there for 15 to 25 minutes. How many times we have just missed that? Like initially when it was there we did, but later on we missed, right? So you can try that. Time for yourself, time for thyself. And this is very important: build your village. So build your connections with the people, and these peoples can be your friends, your professionals. It's just that build connection with people, try to deepen your relationship with them, and by that, slowly and slowly, you will start building a village for yourself, a village full of people whom you can count on, whom you can reach out when you need, and you surely will feel seen, heard, and all that is there. Okay. Now, let's come to the conclusion. A note of hope. As I said, loneliness is a signal, it's a biological signal. Just like your thirst tells you to drink water, loneliness tells you that you need human connection, and quality human connection. Okay. So, yes, please connect with people around you. Try to improve your relationship with them, deepen your relationships with them, and you are not broken for feeling lonely. There is nothing wrong with feeling lonely. You are simply a human being. And the way I put it, you are a social human being who is worthy of good human connections, quality human connections, and I wish you all the very best for that. And of course, if you have any questions, any queries, you can comment me, you can send me, you can record your questions in an audio note and you can send me on Instagram and things like that. And you can always reach out to me. All right. Okay. I hope this video was helpful. And if there is anything, any topic which you want me to make a video on, I will be very happy to. All the best. Bye.